Good morning and welcome to the Monday panel. As you can see, it's a very small panel today. Modders is off. Yeah. Modders is off doing her thing, getting ready for Nan coming home, which is nice. Mr. Evans is busy catching up on work, so he's been busy all weekend. I don't know where the other two are. John's probably still stuffing his face or something.
Yeah.
Not heard off Gary though, and he's not seen the message, so I hope he's all right. Gary Morris says.
Yeah.
So, how are you today, Mal?
I'm good. Son's my eldest daughter and her lot were down last week, and we'd had 3 weeks or more of really nice weather.
Mm-hmm.
Very little cloud, beautiful blue skies, not red hot, but it was a nice day. So sort of days you come down in Easter down here and you think brilliant.
Yeah.
But we knew the week that she was coming down, as it always does, it was going to rain, and it did. So she gave us one day that was reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But today, now she went back on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday was like half and half, and now today's nice bright blue sky again. So we predict the weather down here by whether they're coming down, after the weather forecast. So that's the way it is. So yeah, nice weather. I'm all right. I'm doing my own thing at the moment. We're getting starting to get the bungalow ready for sale, so we can move up north. That at the moment that's slow pace, but there's things happening.
Yeah.
So mod wise, not everything's been on the back burner, but I've been doing my normal slow progress. But although I hate decals with a vengeance, this is done.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm beginning to really like the look of this. The couple of things. There's on just between the R and the K.
Mm-hmm.
There is a data panel.
Okay.
Which I had to cut up the decal because in the decal sheet. In the decal sheet, it was amongst the R and the K.
Yeah.
So to make two, so that was an interesting bit of decaling. I had to cut it into all its bits, but that worked. That was all right. That was quite good. Excuse me a minute. I've dropped me black thing. So I got the decaling done on that. And I've given it a coat of gloss varnish. I was a bit like that about gloss varnish on a natural metal finish, but the MRP gloss varnish is it's perfectly clear in the jar.
Yeah.
And it goes on, and it's not affected the finish at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a wash, dark grey.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting to get the decals on this thing, which was my the Sea Fury, which was my 48 in 48 hour build. I didn't manage to get the decals on it in 48 hours, but I did paint the markings on.
Yeah, it looks good.
I've not got anything that's got Australian markings on. At all. So this was a perfect foil for me. The only trouble is that of course, it's to do with decals, isn't it? I've started getting the decals on, and I want this will have a similar dark grey wash to the P51, which is why I'm not giving the P51 a wash yet.
Yeah.
But the decals for like both of them, there's generic decals.
Yeah.
Generic and specific ones. and I was looking through the specific, the generic decals for the sea fury, and I mean, they're black. Most black, there's yellow ones, red ones. And then I looked a bit closer at the specific ones. But I noticed there's lots of numbers here. They're all white decals.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to see.
Your sound's dropping in and out again, Mal.
Is it? Oh, yeah. I can't do. I don't know. I can't stop that. Yeah. So there's these white decals here, but they're not identified on the positioning sheet. So I've been spending a lot of time trying to work out. I don't know if you can see written things. So trying to identify what the white ones are.
Yeah.
So I can apply some decals more than just some of them that are red or yellow or whatever. I've been on the Airfix site.
Yeah.
Because I thought they did instruction sheets, but I can't find any. But I am going to have a word with Airfix. I'm going to phone them up and just ask them whether they've done an amendment sheet for this or whether they even realise. Because I can see what's happened. The specific decals for the Royal Australian Navy Sea Fury are in the hundreds.
Yeah.
So they carry on from where they go, 106 and on.
Yeah.
But because they're white, I guess nobody's picked up that they need to be added to the. However, there are you can't see on the camera, but there are. You can just about see some of the decals on there, so I'm able to match a bit. But it's a pain in the butt. But it's getting there.
Yeah.
Cool.
How are you? Yeah. How are you, not John?
I can tell you once I unmute myself. Hello. Hi, Mikey. Hi, Mel.
Hi, not John,
mate.
You've probably never heard of the Leyland brothers, but they had Mike and Mel. The Aussies would understand that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So John invited me in. Whether you want me here or not, I'm here. So,
you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Builds up the panel, you know.
Sorry, I'm late. I had to pull apart two chickens.
Shut up, you! I'm talking to your brother.
We're talking to the interesting one.
We don't want to know what you've been doing to chickens.
yes.
You and your cult fantasies. You were telling me you took your trouser leg in next. So, Paul, what are you working on at the minute?
I'll hold up the box, I suppose.
That's what she said.
Yes. that was a gift from John.
Nice.
And I'll tell you what, I travel for work. I don't get a chance to model very often because we just had the Easter break. I've done a few days of solid modeling, and I am loving this kit. She's reasonably big. Let me see if I can tilt that down. I got the blur off.
The blurring off.
Yeah, I'll get the blur off.
Otherwise, it's going to look like we've got cataracts.
Virtual background, none. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, she's rather meaty. She's rather large, but it's a beautiful thing, and it's going together better than I thought it would. Actually, it's an old kit. It's probably early 90s, but it's with a fair bit of effort, particularly with these conformal fuel tanks on the side here. It's actually fitting together pretty well. So I'm really, really happy with it. It's beautiful. So,
Lovely.
So thank you, John.
Yeah. So, John, now we'll come to you. How are you doing?
Good. I've been pulling apart two chickens.
What's that? You've been rogering 2 chickens?
Yeah. Okay, Homer, give her a spin. No, I have not. So I would have been on time, but I had to. Well, it's been night, so I had to, get the meat off the bone and throw the carcasses out in the. So it's like I live in Snowtown, but not really. That's another Australian reference you don't understand. Anyway, so yeah, I'm working on a thing. So it's the opposite of what Paul's doing. So this is a 48 scale MiG-23. This is a trumpeter kit in Polish service. So
it looks nice now that you put your big boy pants on.
Well, it's not perfect. There's a couple of things that I don't like. It doesn't look so bad on camera, but yeah, a couple of seam lines aren't. The fit is not that great, and I should have spent more time getting them right. But it's getting there. It's sort of it's coming along. So yesterday I knocked one of the these are resin aftermarket main wheel wells, and I knocked one of them loose inside, which is a bit of a bugger. So I sat there with 8 of a toothpick and a tongue sticking out the left-hand side of my mouth, and I was able to sort of like put it back in place and glue it and wait 5 minutes, and then realised that I glued my finger to the model and carried on. Tried it a second time and removed all the flesh with a knife, and it's back in for now.
Is it finished yet?
No, it's not finished yet.
Yeah.
Imagine that. So I have a choice. I could continue decaling or decaling that. Decaling?
The carling.
Stickers. Or I can continue the other thing that I had started because I was getting frustrated with this. Well, I might just keep decaling. Decaling.
Yeah, go for that. I'll go through the chat whilst you do that. How's that?
Right.
Sounds like a plan to me. Because we've got quite a lot of chat.
And
we've got no modders today.
Oh.
June, Dieter was first in. Well, I can't remember what he said. June says, second comment, seriously, Hagrid, laugh out loud, happy Easter all. Happy Easter, Julian. Ian says, third set, said in an Irish accent, hi all. Julian, morning Ian, as in Richard, yeah. Mind you, addressing the current monarch in that accent is probably treason. Julian says, doubt I'll be there much today, if at all. Host duties, no problems. Dieter's put some laughing fish on. Duke, good day, all you beautiful people. Hello, Duke.
Hey, Duke.
Timmy is in. He says, ahoy, all.
Hey, Timo.
Whenever he says that, I can just picture him in like one of those Victorian sailor outfits.
Oh, yeah.
Tim.
Yeah. Scott says, good day, folks. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Tiff says, morning. And she says, it feels weird not being in the back room.
That's what she said.
He said.
Joe says, good morning, afternoon, all. Good morning, Joe. Well, afternoon. Matthew says, hello, everyone. Hello, Matthew.
Hello, Matthew. Welcome back.
Phil says, good day, all. Good day, Phil.
Goodbye.
Kevin says, good day, everyone. Good day, Kevin.
Yeah.
Joe says, beautiful P51.
Do I claim that one?
Yes. I don't think the others are made yet.
No,
the others are yet.
No, it's Airfix 148. Nice kit. Great markings as well.
Nice.
Even if you don't paint them on, it'll still be good.
Yeah.
Ish.
Tiff says, please don't forget to like. Don't forget the like button. I'll be here watching, but not much talking as I'm decorating my nana's new room. Oh, bless you. Ian says it's grim up north today. Aye, it'd be a bit foggy. Plastic Alchemist is in. He says, good morning, all. Hello, Nuno.
Hello. 2 weeks in a row. We're blessed.
We are. Dieter says, a bit of a cummy log, cloudy in Belgium. And hello from Near and me. Hello, Near and you.
Hello, Near.
Yeah, sod Dieter. Hello, Near.
Oh, yeah, and Dieter. Yeah, not.
Never mind, Dieter. Tiff says, ooh, John has a storm. That lightning was pretty.
Oh yeah. I've got a bit of a storm around me. Yeah.
Dee says, greetings, Uncle Dragon, Mal, Ozzy, and Miles. Hello, Nia. Timmy says, what's up, Funkles? Duke says, ask the Leyland brothers.
That's the one.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, he wants me to sing, that's for sure.
Yeah. No. Lady Sam says, hi, Mikey, Mal, John, not the better-looking twin, also chat.
Oh, okay then. All right then.
That's a bit harsh.
I can leave.
Greetings, Auntie Modmin. And greetings, Uncle Duke, Tim's, Alchemist, and Jules. And greetings, Auntie Sam. How do you call Lightning McQueen and Brian Jones racing together? Thunderstruck at John's.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Lady Sam says, hi, Mikey, Mal, Frontline John. John's better looking other half of the twin set and chat.
Yeah. Frontline John. Oh, that's funny.
See, what you should call him, Sam, is your stalker. Lady Sam says, hi, Julian. GB Models is in. He says, hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Hello, GB Models.
Hello, Jeebs.
GB Models.
I like that, Jeebs.
Jeeps, mate. Jeeps.
Yeah. Lady Sam says, John, you have a nice thunderstorm heading your way. It's already there.
Thank you. You sent it up north, did you? Thank you.
And that's the chat caught up with. Hey.
Well done.
We're on a roll.
Right.
Oh, wait, no. Yes.
I can't see the chat at all. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, he doesn't trust us.
Like that, so that John doesn't get carried away.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, I end up trying to read one thing out, and then halfway through, John will start answering something else. Lady Sam says, Lady Sam says, Oshita Stalker, John. I like that.
Oshita.
Still funny.
Never gets old.
It's only picking up one of my cameras. What's going on here? Ooh. It's unusual. I think that must have knocked it. Problem is, I don't know which cable it is. I don't know what's going on here. What's going on here?
Stiggy play guitar.
Don't sing.
I'm not allowed to sing. Oh, crap. It's hard.
Yeah.
One is the other.
How's that feel? Stifling, innit?
Oh, God. Guess what I found in my drawers here?
What? You left your drawers there?
Yeah.
Right, that should. Hey, there we go. I must have knocked it.
So, Mikey, have I told you the story about this model kit that I've got here? This F15.
The one that John got you?
Yeah. So
Go for it.
it was very, very kind of him. Basically, I had a bit of a moment when he gave me this. He's just walked in here, which isn't very often. He lives 1,000 kilometers away. He's just walked in here and goes, "Oh, just get something out of the car." Da-da. And I had a bit of a moment. When we were young, I would say probably 12 or 13, before John discovered Frontline Hobbies. We used to, of course, go down to the local model shop. I think it was Meyer in Dandenong. Bottom line is, at the top shelf was that model. And I remember saying, you know what? When I'm 50, I'll be able to just buy whatever the hell I want. Because when you're 13 or whatever, you can't afford to get the model you want.
Yeah.
And
True.
he didn't remember me saying that, but I certainly remembered saying that. And he's walked in with exactly that model. And I thought,
Same box and everything. Yeah.
same box and everything. And it was quite a bit of a moment. So I'm quite enjoying this one. What I've learnt is that with the lizard green camouflage, there was only ever one.
Okay.
I thought that like there'd be a squadron of them or whatever, but it was like the test one, the demo, and there was only ever one. I've got a book full of photos of it, but serial number 291. There's only one, and that's certainly the one I'm doing. The one on the box is, grey as well.
Yeah.
The lizard green is such a gorgeous looking thing, even though there's only one.
Yeah.
Special. So quite enjoying this. And thank you, John.
I changed my mind. I'm not going to do that model.
Blue sheet of flashback.
Blue sheet of flashback, yeah.
Where is it?
Now, basically, I'll just say to the chat, if anyone wants me to go, I'm happy to go. Just say goodbye, Paul, and I'll leave. I'm not normally.
It's my choice whether I want you to go or not. It's my channel.
Careful, I nearly said goodbye, Paul. That was automatic. You asking it? I'm saying it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mean it though.
Yeah, you would.
He would, of course, he would.
Right.
The younger me had a 172nd Hasegawa F-15, and it's always been one of my favourite planes.
Yeah.
I mean, my sound's okay? You can hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
It's such a beautiful plane, this thing. It's just outstanding.
Stop fretting so much.
It's like the MiG-23, but pretty.
Yeah, I had a nice eureka moment yesterday.
Ooh.
What? Did you stink?
Over this.
What is that?
Recognise
Let's
it?
zoom in. Let's zoom in.
What is
It's
that?
it's one of the little clips to put your shavers into?
Yeah. I pulled out a new razor yesterday, and I took it. I went, "Wow, that is absolutely perfect."
It's very clear.
Well, clear, but it's not going to be. And what it's going to be for is remember the Apocalypse tank that's not been shown for a while, and I've removed the blades and the plows that are on it and kept part of them so I can fabricate subsurface radar.
Oh yeah.
So that's the sort of shape I was thinking about, and it's got this slightly raised and curved bit, which will be the base. Thing is, I've only got one more razor, so I've had to go and buy some more of the same type, so I can get 4 of them. And I just went, wow, that's amazing. That's just perfect. It needs a bit of work, obviously, for fixings and stuff, but the shape of it, just for me, that bit of base, just shouts subsurface radar.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Do you know what? I think I'm going to do Pepe the Giant.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool, isn't he?
Yeah, how tall is that?
12 centimeters.
Wow.
The detail on him is brilliant. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing, some of these things.
Yeah. So I'm going to make Pepe. Because I need a break from making vehicles and things all the time. And I've just got that. I want to use it. There you go, John.
What was that?
You may or may
Flesh
not need. Yeah. Because we were talking the other day about doing figure painting, weren't we?
We were.
The instructions on these are really simple. Stick body to legs. Stick other half of body. Tiff says, I have all my cables labeled for that reason, Mikey. Yeah, they are labeled. It's just the label was tucked behind the computer monitor, so I couldn't see it. GB says, great looking builds there. Yeah, they're doing well, aren't they?
Oh, thank you.
The thing that you're working on, Mel, looks fabulous. I couldn't tell you what it is, though.
It's the model that should never have been started.
Well, this, yeah. Don't ever build one of these.
You're a master at weathering, mate. That looks gorgeous.
I'm trying. I'm using AK weathering pencils. I'm not very good with them, but they do. Even if you like just throw them on a bit, like I'm doing at the moment, they do make a nice difference and make it subtle. And I'm not. Trouble is, it's when you finish. I sort of quite like how it is so far, but I'm thinking under certain lights and angles it looks nice, and then others, it's not that good, and then so I'm just adding a bit more because the deckling thing, I'm going to need a lot of concentration to work out what the decals are. So I thought I'll crack on with this.
I bought a pack of those weathering pencils at Telford. Just got like £6.25 on it. But I tried it on my last model, and I'm obviously using them wrong because like total crap. Put them back in the box, useless.
Well, it's they're a bit odd. These, I believe, were the idea of Daniel Zamabide. I don't know if that's the case, but Danny, you'll see him using these pencils a lot. So I figured he was the one that instigated him, and he does a lot of the weathering books and stuff for AK. And if you watch him use them, you just go, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And you do that like I'm trying here. It ain't the same. It just doesn't work the same. But you do need a matte coat to put them on. And you can either do them dry like I'm doing at the moment, and then that's how you want, or you can then, and I use a small wide flat brush, a little bit of water, not too much. I've just dabbed it in the deckle water then, just taking as much off it as I can, and then you can just stipple it or drag it, and it just discolours the area a little bit.
Maybe you should play with them a little more. The problem
give the model a matte coat, and then try it on the matte coat, because the gloss coat the pencils don't take. Also, they need to be, I reckon, reasonably sharp.
Yeah,
and then you can use them with more finesse. But they are subtle. And it's like I'm using buff. Right now, all these panels at the I went over them and used where is it? Olive green from the green and brown set.
Yeah.
And when I was putting on it, and that's just the bit of difference you can see. But I'm now going over it with buff, which is actually sort of greenish.
Greenish buff.
Yeah, it's called buff, but it's not. I wouldn't call that a buff. But it's like a lighter olive drab, if you like. So that'll come up a bit lighter. So it might just add a little bit more. That's the plan. So you have a little wet brush, and what I've put on is virtually gone. But you can simply add more. Or you can just wet the tip with a pencil. Pencil, I said pencil. Before you, and then it'll leave more behind, and then you can
dip
and streak it back with maybe a dry brush. I don't know. Yeah, wet the tip.
I bet you've missed us, haven't you, Mel?
What?
It was last week.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry about that.
What was
What's
that?
the matter, John?
That was a sudden thunder after some lightning.
Did you wet your knickers?
Well, you didn't hear the noise cancellation. Didn't hear the thunder at all.
Nope.
No.
Oh, my God. Oh, I think I touched cotton. Oh.
John's a big girl's blower.
I'll be back. I'm just going to go and vomit somewhere. Just be a sec.
Oh. Bloody hell. Yeah, there's a storm near us at the moment.
This is where we see it flash on John's screen, and then we just hear a thud as he hits the floor.
It says smoke wafting across the screen. You there, John?
Yeah.
You there, John? Hello?
It switches to the other camera, and there's just John with his hair standing on end, smoking, looking very dazed and confused.
Oh, that was really sudden. Oh, dear.
Oh, I just realised this one. Pepe's bald with sideburns.
15.
Wonder what's happened to Gary Morris today. He's usually on Monday, isn't he? Might be busy.
The part of Gary Morris will be played by Paul Marley.
Can I get a refund?
If Gary's not on, I'm not on. Duke says, Paul, that was another fine cotton moment.
Oh,
Tim says, I tried them once, not for me. I've always been a brush painter first, so maybe I'm just more comfortable slinging paint. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Each to their own.
I have persevered with them. Probably because I've all packs in one go.
What?
Yeah. I thought, oh, they're
perfect.
Giving
away.
What?
Giving away as prizes or something.
No, I like them. I like using them. I'm not very good at it. I just easy. None of this. I don't know what else. I've just changed my style a little bit doing this, and it seems to be working better. So wetting the tip, and rather than wetting the tip of the pencil, Jesus Christ, wetting the tip of the pencil, and rather than dabbing it off to dry it a little bit, I'm just going in neat. which leaves a bit more of the pencil and pigment on, and then going in with a dry brush and just dabbing it.
You're going in dry, are you, Mal?
Going in dry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, I'm going in dry. Yes, dry. Yeah. And dabbing that, and that seems to do a bit.
Yeah, I just feel like Gary's not here.
It seems to do a bit. I don't know.
Steve says, "Hi all. Sorry I missed anything over the last couple of days. YouTube unsubbed me, so I just resubbed again. Hope you're all well." Oh bloody hell! YouTube, you pain in the butts. But thank you for resubbing, Steve.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah.
Tammy's in. She says, "Good morning, everyone. Hello. How are you? And how is Ray?" They've done some wonderful train videos lately. Whoops, Daisy. Okay. Right. Now then. Now. Need some water. Water. I need a hairy stick. Ow, my knee just cracked.
Tell you what, just a little bit of wash improves things, and this looks fabulous all of a sudden.
Just a little what? Sorry.
A little wash.
Show us. Let's zoom in on Paul for a moment. What are you working on there? The seat, is it?
The seat.
Yeah. So these are resin seats, yes?
Yes. Yes. The seat in the model was rather horrible. But I don't know if you can see them okay. Yeah. Very nice.
You can see them well enough.
These are the I'm a bit of a noob to a lot of this. This is the first 3D printed bits of model I've ever played with. And I find it odd. It's an odd material. This one was really easily cracked. It's got some big, like on the back of this, which you can't see. There's some just massive cracks across the material, which is something I wouldn't have expected. But because of where they are, it's really not a problem. No one's ever going to see it. But yeah, bit odd. It's not something I would have seen. Not something I would have expected in normal sort of molded plastic.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's normal actually for 3D printed stuff.
It can be sometimes because it's resin, so it's quite brittle.
That said, though, these seats are wonderful. They're so well detailed. They're beautiful.
Sounds like a delivery.
They're as wonderful as the original seats are horrible. They're of their time.
Yeah. Tammy says, "We are doing well, thank you." Good. Glad to hear it. Is anyone in the chat working on anything whilst they're watching? Whilst they're watching this horrible bunch of misfits.
Speak for yourself.
Yes, we all know you're lovely, Mal.
Well, it is a fact.
Well, yeah, that's true. Good old Uncle Mal.
Wonderful and humble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are we playing John Bingo today?
Well, we can do. I've still got the sheet next to me. I'm sure I can circle them off.
John, can you just say C130 for me? I need that one.
What's
sorry,
that one?
Can you just say C130 for me? I need that one.
It's got to be natural.
Boom. 46, that one.
I'm going to message Mr. Morris just to make sure he's okay. I'm sure he is.
Now, what a weird story. When I was ripping apart the chicken before I came out the garage here, I just put on first, say, five songs or whatever of the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, and then I couldn't help myself as I'm putting the carcass of what's left of it, all the chicken in the fridge. I was thinking to myself, nobody puts a chicken in the corner. So I thought I've been listening to too much. So yeah.
Nobody puts a chicken in the korma.
Yeah, didn't think of that.
So we have some more comments. Joe says, I am working on the Airfix 132nd 17-pounder anti-tank gun with crew, painting it as a 1 type. Ooh. That sounds fun.
132nd?
Yeah. Sounds a decent size.
That's not a normal scale for armor, is it?
Yeah. Airfix 132nd. That'll be a nice model when it's finished. Tim says, Sea Fury is virtually done, so painting some minis. Worked a new recipe for flames I'm pretty stoked about.
Oh, nice.
Do tell.
Cool.
Morgan says, Morgan says, hello. He's sat in the living room because he's staying at ours tonight.
Sent you a PM just now, Mikey.
Okay.
On the regular Monday. Oh. Okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Morgie. Jim says, hey, what's all this then? Well, Mal's making a really big aeroplane by the look of it. Paul's making another really big aeroplane, F-15. And John's sticking decals to his forehead, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Plenty of room there.
Backwards, too.
Yeah. Duke says, unfortunately, I'm not. Work has taken this week off, so I have time. Unfortunately, I cut my toenails on Saturday, and my back is gone, and I can't sit for long. Oh. All right.
Oh, Duke.
Do you only cut them once a year, or
did you just miss?
Or did you did it fire back in your face and you jumped or something?
It fell over.
Duke says, John, I have something about 90% finished for you. Ooh.
Oh, really? Oh, you're a god of a man.
Jim says, my hope is that Airfix one day revives their 132nd scale armor vehicle kits and figures. Yeah. And he says he likes the Romanian airplane Mal's working on.
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't if you had to build it.
Yeah, it's taken a while. It's been Romanian on his desk for quite a while now.
Hey, the markings have been painted. Well, they were started once. And then disaster struck. But yeah, persevering.
Ian says, I was about to ask where our Jim is. Good morning, Jim. David says, hi all, just got up, not had the best night, bad stomach. Ugh, yeah.
Oh.
I'll feel better soon, dude. I was watching a couple of programs on YouTube last night. And Mal, if I was to say to you, why would you not want to go to Colchester? What would come to mind? Well, why would you not want to go to get sent to college?
The Glass House.
Yeah. Well, these two programs, one was filmed in the 90s and one was in 2004. Both of them were about the Glass House, right? Well, right. For those that don't know, it's the British Forces prison in Colchester. It's nicknamed Collie.
No, didn't know that.
In the 90s, they obviously, me and Mal both know this, but it was feared because the way they disciplined you and things whilst you're in there. It was just non-stop drilling and things like that.
Oh, sounds very Navy.
Beastings and PT and things.
Oh, that drill.
Yeah.
Speaking of Navy, Timbo, so check your messenger stream.
Yeah. So yeah, in the 90s one, it's all very disciplined and regimented, and they're doing nothing but drill and PT constantly. And the detainees themselves are all saying, "I wish I'd never been messed up enough to be sent here." But in the one in 2004, apparently, or the one in 2000, apparently in 2004, the prison service inspectors went in and said, "We don't like the way the civilian organization went in and said, we don't like the way you do things. You should be trying to rehabilitate prisoners, not punish them." So they were forced to make it more like a civilian sort of prison system. So now they've actually got prisoners going in, and after a few days they're going, when does the punishment start?
Oh, okay.
They're literally saying to the instructors, when does the punishment start? Because all they're doing is focusing on like learning skills and things rather than actually being punished.
A lot of guys that end up there are being kicked out of the army anyway.
Well, apparently it's only a third of them now.
Is it?
They just get sent there. They just get sent there to be re-educated, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother ended up in there for a time.
We're going to make that the duty room as John, don't you?
No, it wasn't John. It was my youngest brother.
Yeah, but we're going to say it's John.
Older one, correct?
Yeah, you can say it's John. They'll deny it because it's not true. But he sort of enjoyed it, bizarrely.
Was he a guardsman?
Well, no, he's a sapper. And I won't tell you why he ended up in there. That won't be right. Killing people is not. I mean, no, he didn't. But he teamed up with a Marine, and when they did things like log runs, he and this Marine would just pair up, where all the other teams were like in fours, and they'd still beat him. He says, "I've never been as fit." And he had a racket going with Mars bars because they're not allowed.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things that was mentioned actually in the 2000s show.
Yeah,
I think, in fact, it was mentioned in the 90s one as well. In the 90s, they're not allowed to pass anything to one another, are they? Like Mars bars and things, because it could be used for bullying.
They're not allowed to have food in their rooms, but they had a foot locker.
Yeah,
which got inspected and everything. But but Mars bars were used as currency between the guys.
Yeah,
because they tended to get, they worked hard, but the food, although they got good food and lots of food, it was never enough, and in the evening you just needed a bit more. So Mars bars were a thing.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I noticed about it was obviously the uniforms changed because they're not in 94s or 95s anymore. They're in MTPs. But in the 90s one, all the sort of instructors and guards and MPs and stuff are all immaculately dressed. Cap badge over the left eye, all the uniform perfectly pressed and trousers done properly and everything. Yeah. In the 2000s one of them had, because he was obviously a gym bunny, he had his sleeves rolled up as far as they would go and sewn flat against his bicep. A female staffy didn't even have her trousers done properly. She was wearing like a normal pair of suit trousers. And her her cap badge was halfway around her head. There was just no consistency in the dress regs or anything in the dress.
That's bad.
Like,
well, not only did those convicted of crimes not want to be there, if you had to take anybody to Colchester, you got leapt on as well, beasted up and down the parade ground apparently.
Yeah.
And I once, going on leave, got dragged in and told, "You'll be escorting this guy to Colchester." I went, "Oh, really?" Oh no! And I luckily got out of it.
Yeah.
But, there is a clause if you get told you'd escort. If you happen to be going on leave and you get to end up to escort somebody that's going there, there is a clause in that you can't make excuses to get out of it.
Yeah,
because nobody wants to go there.
No,
Nobody wants to go there.
Well, this is the thing. It was a place to be feared, wasn't it?
Well,
it was.
Yeah, I was a court orderly in a court martial once, and I was told that, like, if we find him guilty, that you'll be escorting him to our version of it was Holsworthy, and it didn't happen. Basically, the CO basically said, sign on this line, and you're out of the Defence Force today. So he did that.
Yeah. See, here, if you're convicted of a crime, even if you're being discharged, you're still sent to Collie first.
Yeah, I know, but this is, I mean, it was just awful. The whole thing, just being part of it. I wanted nothing to do with it, but that's why they made me the court orderly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was awful because the prosecuting lawyer was just an arsehole.
Yeah.
Like, saying terrible things to women just to try to get them. Oh, it's what you're wearing, wasn't it? Sort of thing. Those lines. I know he was just playing a role, but he just seemed, it's like the Stephen Miller of Australian Defence Force. It's awful.
Yeah. Well, in the 90s one, there's this young female soldier. She was only 19, and she'd been sent to Collie for disobeying an order. And she was blatantly not making any effort with a dress or anything. And because she ended up getting put on show parades every day, and she would get put on charge after charge because she just wasn't getting a uniform right, which isn't a difficult thing to do. She started going, "Oh, I don't want to be in the army anymore. It's stupid. I don't like it." And I was like, "What the hell did you expect the army to be like? Did you expect it to just be like a scout camp or something?"
Yeah. Yeah, I was once involved in a court martial or court martial. I was, I think it was I was like an usher.
Yeah,
but I also had charge of all the paperwork.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the court martial, I had to burn all the paperwork. But it was late and I didn't bother.
Okay, so what did you do? I mean,
I took it home and burnt it in the bin at home.
Oh, fair enough.
I was supposed to take it to some incinerator.
Sell it to the local newspaper.
Yeah. So I did a bad thing.
Put on Signal.
Put on Signal. See, that happened again. I've done it again.
But
yeah. It's just mad. I think I probably nearly got court-martialed a couple of times.
Oh, I should have been a couple of times.
Yeah. I mean, I was very, very close one time when I was in Iraq for disobeying orders. But I just stood my ground because, as far as I'm concerned, the order was unlawful. So I stood my ground, and eventually it got reduced to a guard duty. And
so looking
the guy
back,
that was,
would you do the same again?
Yes.
Right. That's
eventually, after a week of standing my ground, the sergeant that was charging me, he reduced it to a guard duty, and I was like, "Yeah, that's fine, no problem." And he went, well, "It's a punishment. Surely you don't be on guard duty." And I went, "Oh, if I am, I am." What he didn't realise was the day he put me on guard duty was the day I was due to be on guard duty anyway.
Yeah, right. That works.
So I'd actually got one over on him.
I mean, the thing is, you're in Iraq. What else are you going to do? Timbo!
Timbo!
How are you?
How are you, mate?
Here's the man without sideburns.
So I heard you were unwell recently.
Oh yeah, that's a fun story. Yeah, had a what I thought was a tummy ache for about 2 weeks, and I've never really had a tummy ache, so didn't have a frame of reference. Yeah, eventually, yeah, I was like, man, I'm really uncomfortable, and it's been about 2 weeks, and my wife told me to go to the hospital, and eventually I listened, and yeah, took me into ED and did a bunch of scans, and they're like, mate, you've been walking around with a burst appendix for about a week and a half, so which was pretty good. So all my organs were inflamed and all that, but
alpha male.
Yeah. So that was a bit of fun. And I was just cracking jokes and stuff with the doctor, and he's like, "Are you actually okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, like it hurts," but yeah. So stayed in hospital for 5 days, got pumped full of antibiotics, and got smacked on the bum, and
And your mum being a nurse, was she impressed when you told her the story?
Well, she was in town coincidentally to help my wife with some stuff. Anywho, so yeah, they came and visited me in hospital, and yeah,
they only came and visited you because they happened to be in the area.
Yeah, just being yeah, they weren't too impressed that I'd let that happen, but got discharged on a Wednesday, jumped on a plane Thursday morning and flew down to New South Wales for my mate's wedding and had a skinful. So that was good.
Star.
But yeah,
level up.
Live to tell the tale and stuff, and I'll have a scan in another couple of weeks, I think, start of next month. I'll have a scan and see if there's anything left to even bother removing, or did first and I just fix myself up.
Yeah. So, how do you feel now? You're back to normal now?
Yeah, I felt fine as soon as the antibiotics made all of my internal organs stop being inflamed. Then I was feeling fine.
Do they rule out pregnancy first?
What was that?
Do they rule out pregnancy first?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I don't know if it was the beard or what. Not too many people actually asked.
That's not a conversation we're getting into.
Yeah, I'm glad you're okay, Tim. That's
yes, we're glad you're still alive.
Yeah.
Nah, it's all good. God's favorite soldier. Nothing's gonna happen to me.
Excellent. Let's catch up with the chat. Oh, Timmy's gone all blurred. There you go. Matthew says, I'm halfway through 124's Rebel McLaren 570S. Lost my modelling mojo at the minute, so chilling, listening to the panel. Oh, it happens. Don't worry.
McLaren 570. I need to Google that. That
David
Can-Am
said,
racer?
didn't it?
I'm gonna have a look.
David says, have got an M2A2 Bradley ready to paint now, though. Ooh. That's fun. Jim says, I'm enjoying it because someone else is working on it, not I.
No, it's not. It's a new supercar thing.
And he says, hello, Ian. And Martin says, how do?
How do?
Hello, Martin. Jim says, Duke, sorry to hear that, mate. Feel better soon. Did you lacerate your toes whilst trimming the toenails? I think he did like Father Jack when they cut his toenails, and it just pinged off and hit, smashed a vase, and then he did it again. It smashed him in the face or something. Jim, maybe basket weaving will be introduced at Colchester. Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah, something like that.
But you watch them. It showed them marching around and stuff in the 2001, and their uniforms in rag order. We would never have got away with it the way they had their uniforms.
Yeah.
Oh, Dita says Nia is decorating her future trophy cabinet, as almost all her figurines are done for the time being. Instead of green fingers, hers are anodized purple. Jim says John Marley MiG-23 looks great.
Thank you. I
Thank
know
you.
you're lying.
I'll take the credit too.
Jim says, is Modders here? She's listening, but she's decorating it in a minute. Jim says, hello, Steve's Gaming and GB Models. He says, seems the whole of Australia is here today. Huzzah!
Yeah.
Bonza, mate, Bonza.
There's nothing else happening down here.
Dead Pope and all.
Oh, there is that.
He says, I didn't know Clan Chief was here, Jim.
What time is it where you are, Jim?
Probably be about 8 o'clock in the morning, I imagine.
Jim gets extra points for being.
It's usually like 6 o'clock or something when it's 11, isn't it? Okay.
I am very happy with this cockpit.
Chicago, 7 a.m.
There you go.
You, Jim, are so keen.
He is. He loves it. He does. He loves it.
Is that Sea Fury just about finished?
Yeah,
Ooh,
fantastic.
Pretty.
Look at that. I thought you were going for the blue one.
Ooh, let's zoom.
No, I'm doing mine per the photos I took at the Australian War Memorial. So
I was thinking it's just like the one they got at the War Memorial in Canberra.
yeah, it took me forever to find the right decals and stuff, but first time painting invasion stripes and stuff, and pretty happy with how all that turned out. So
it looks good.
Obviously it's still glossed at the moment. I still got like blue tack in the canopy and that. So yeah, it's up to pretty much weathering and
Tell me about the gloss coat you use. You seem to be more successful at glossing things up than I am.
It's just
Use like an aerosol, or do you use
just Vallejo gloss varnish.
I use that too, and it doesn't go glossy like that.
I think it's just the Marley twins that don't know how to use Vallejo, because I never have a problem with it.
I put a lot on this one. Like I probably put too much on because the finish on some of it isn't great, but I'm hoping when it's all done and dusted, the matte will cover those imperfections. But look, all the decals went down nice, and I'm happy with how everything kind of shook out. So, yeah.
Excellent.
That looks really nice, Tim. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
And Tim, can you give your very best regards, my very best regards, to a beautiful wife after the show?
I will. We cooked a lamb roast tonight. It was awesome.
Bloody hell.
Jim says, just after 7 a.m. here in Chicagoland, Central Time Zone in the US is 6 hours behind UK time. There we go.
You are so keen.
He is. Jim says, bank holiday in the UK? It is indeed. That explains why there's so many people watching.
Yeah, we got. As Paul explained to me earlier, we call them public holidays here, but we've got 2 this week. It's obviously Easter Monday today. On Friday, it's Anzac Day, a big day on the military calendar in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
Tell you what, it's not very often those things happen in the same week, and I reckon half the Aussies are just going to be sitting at home this week and not working at all.
Yeah.
And then there'll be you, Paul, travelling everywhere to cover the workload.
Yeah. What I do.
So you're in Melbourne this week, or you're travelling?
I'm in Melbourne this week. No one's travelling this week. If we ran a course this week, no one would show up. I'm not doing that. It's a 3-day work week, mate. I'm not doing a 4-day course.
36.
Yeah, I'll be down on the Gold Coast for Anzac Day this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. First one out of uniform in a long time. So, catching up with my mate Smouch, because we discharged at the same time. So, yeah. Hanging out with him. Yeah.
Where do you get that name from? What's that?
He's a Smith. So, Callum Smith, yeah. So, he gets Smouch or Smitty. Yeah. Because, we got nicknames and stuff. So, if your last name's Webb, you get Spider. If your last name's Evans, you get Dory. Although that one's pretty old. The only people that ever called me Dory were crusty old chiefs.
If you have a hyphen, you get 2 dads.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, two of my mates were 2 dads. So there was a female 2 dads and a male 2 dads. And then they got together. And we were like, this is a train wreck. Your kid's going to be 4 dads. Like, but they're very happy. So.
Jim says, some school districts in my area are closed for Easter Monday. Yeah. Jim says, Anzac Day is Friday?
25th.
There you go.
It's the commemorates the morning that Australia and New Zealand both went to war under their
with the emus.
Well, it's the first time as a nation, as opposed to being just a British Commonwealth regular force. Although it wasn't. That is actually.
It's the first time they were defeated by the emus.
Yeah.
The emu revolution.
Cape Bismarck in PNG is actually the first time that Australia went to war. Well, Tom, he doesn't want to go because last year was the first time we went to our local one in Ramo. but Tom's asked to go to a different suburb this year. He didn't particularly like that service.
Oh, for
I love the
dawn
fact that
service?
even if I don't feel like going, my son will get up pre-dawn and go.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well, in our unit, because our original unit was, because our unit was originally based in my hometown, and then it moved when it became a mechanised unit. So,
Well, that's what mechanised units do.
well, yeah. So on Remembrance Sunday, we had to do a parade in my local town. Get up at 6 o'clock, do a parade in my local town for the 11 o'clock one. Go back to our unit, have dinner, and then go do a parade in that town as well in the afternoon.
Uh-huh.
But in the afternoon one, it was a challenge. There's like a yearly challenge amongst all the lads who could stay awake through the whole service, because the service in that one was about an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and they always had the heating on full blast in the church. Honestly, we were knackered because we'd all been drinking the night before.
Of course.
Till about 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we were up at like 6 o'clock to get ready. Yeah, it's quite funny. We went to start off on one of the parades on the Sunday afternoon one year. And the sergeant major went to, because the parade was our company, which is about 80 people. Then you had the 3 different cadets groups behind us. Then you had the scouts and the guides and the civil dignitaries and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's a few hundred people in this parade, and we went to move off, and then the captain went up to the sergeant major and went, "Sergeant Major, where's Warrant Officer? Oh God, what was his name? I can never remember his surname." But they said, "Where's such and such?" And he went, and when he went down the lines, like, is he in the wrong place or something like that? Because he's a warrant officer. He was supposed to be at the front. And next minute, all we saw was this warrant officer come running up the bloody high street, trying to fasten his belt and everything. He'd gone, when we gone back for dinner, he'd gone to lie down on his bed and fell asleep. I woke up and everyone had gone.
Classic.
Yeah, that was fun. Jim says, "John, what colours did you use for the MiG camouflage?"
Well, so not the ones that are listed in the trumpeter specs. What they wanted was, let's see, it's a mix. RLM 70, RLM 82, so black, green, light green, and a mix of trainer yellow and green. Yeah, they're completely wrong. So I just looked at what was available. So what I chose in the end was, let me just grab across.
Rush, that was his name. Warrant Officer Rush.
Actually,
ironically.
Just wait a moment. I'll place this decal and I'll finish answering that question. Hope you don't mind.
Yeah, ironically, that warrant officer's name was Warrant Officer Rush. And he came rushing up the high street. And of course, because he had to approach, the only way to get into the car park where we're all formed up was to walk straight towards the front of the parade. All he could see is, as he's walking up to the parade, is us all smirking at him. Because he knew he was going to get a ribbon in the bar afterwards.
Yeah.
Mr. Evans says, "Afternoon chaps, late for parade, won't happen again, sir." It's all right. We've been having some interesting conversations about Colchester, so it fits in quite well. Jim says, "Gallipoli was a bloody disaster. A Churchillian idea gone wrong, horribly so."
Yeah. But, I mean, the idea was good. I think it was well founded, but I think they underestimated. I think it's typical of British forces to underestimate. The enemy are just, villagers, and they're, not as well trained as us. And yeah, what I forgot is people in their home countries fight like hell when their home country's invaded.
Yeah, and the Turks were already dug in and things.
Okay.
That's all right. We'll get them next time.
Yeah.
I was reading a book called Shot at Dawn on Saturday, which is about the 300 British troops that were executed for cowardice and desertion and things like that. And what it does is they tell you about each individual case through the book. And there's a case I was reading, and he was a guy in the Dardanelles, and he'd been convicted for refusing to soldier. And the reason he'd refused to soldier is because he was ill and he told him that he had dysentery. But he was still convicted for refusing to soldier and for cowardice, even though a third of his battalion was down with dysentery, because he said he didn't want to soldier. He was too ill to work. They executed him on the beach.
Wow.
And he was executed a week before they withdrew from the peninsula.
Okay, so Jim, this is one of the photos I'm sort of going for. That look, those colours. So that's, as you can see, it's somebody else's model, but such a beautiful job. So they're the colours I'm going for, because that's what matches my other bit of research that I've found, which that I'm going to trust. Oh, I can't see it now. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So Edward had released this trumpeter kit as one of theirs. So the colours that they had here, this is for an East German one, but I quite like their mixes and everything else. So I just took lots of notes. And so what I ended up looking for and getting is Middlestone is the brown, bronze green, which is like British bomb sort of colour, and US light green, which ironically is the interior colour for, say, Mustangs and whatnot. They're the three colours on the outside there. And the underneath, the light blue, is probably the best I could do at short notice is Russian Air Force light blue. So I thought that'll do. So that's my colour choice.
You've done a really nice camouflage pattern on there.
Yeah, again... What I did is that scheme there, I think the colours are wrong. I could see an aircraft in these colours, but as a Czech Republic Air Force. I can't see any photos of Polish ones in this dark green scheme. So I wanted to go for what looked like, to my references, more correct. So that scheme there, it's got a dark green blotch and the wing tips are dark green. It's pretty much echoed by this one by Edward, which is dark green blotch and wingtips that are dark green. So basically, I just followed that as a pattern and ended up with, as you see it. So it looks very F-111 like, but then again, it is a swing wing, so that makes sense, doesn't it? That's what they copied it off. So it's coming along. It's sort of weird. Like as I've said before, I've not done a Russian aircraft before. I'm enjoying the process, because what comes next is fitting the main undercarriage. In fact, all the undercarriage, and I think that's going to be a little bit of fun because they're big, chunky, and quite articulated. It's like it's an interesting mechanism. It's probably the most interesting part of the aircraft, to be frank.
Cool.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
It does look good. It does definitely look like the right colours to me.
Yeah. But I want to try to get it muted quite a lot after the decals are down. So using sort of, lighter colours as filters and whatnot. I'll see what happens there. Oh, and the radome. Yeah, the radome and it's probably the VHF antenna on top there are just another colour. I can't remember now. I think it's just I think it's a light grey that I used on the Fokker D7. It just it seemed about right. Oh, that's right, because I took a photo of an SMS colour and thought, that'll do. Use that as a guide. There we go. So it was called, of all things, Russian MiG radome grey. So I sort of just took a photo of that and just copied that.
Looks at detail in the base for this. It's lovely.
You'll be painting Warhammer before you know it, Mikey.
No, I won't, because I won't be paying for Warhammer. But how cool is that? And that's him so far.
Cool.
Wow.
Carrying a big boulder under his arm. Some little bits that are going to need filling and stuff, but
one more thing with this scheme I went for. So the three, a dark green, light green, and the tan, if you like, the middle stone. On this side view, it's got a darker brown just forward of the engine there. So I figure, well, it's probably a respray in the field or something like that. So for that little splodge there, I actually went for a darker brown, as you can see there. And that's just what I got the other day for the Model T, which is a khaki brown.
Yeah.
So that works. Yeah.
Excellent. Jim says, Gary Stuff, hello, Mr. Evans. How to scoff? Any complaints? And Gary says, scoff is top of the line, sir. No complaints. Excellent. Jim says, good news, lad. On with your duties. He says, most of Churchill's military campaigns had political motivations behind them. They were good ideas in thought and planning, but they didn't work. Italy and Narvik were examples from World War II. Yeah.
I've been doing a deep dive the last couple of days into the Battle of Concord and Lexington. I think it's the 250th anniversary, so it's pretty much how the American War of Independence started. So that was an interesting read, I must say.
Can I bring the conversation back to Gallipoli for a moment?
You can.
I was reminded of a quote. There's a bit of a memorial garden to the Turks who died at Anzac Cove as well in Melbourne.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
General Ataturk, who was the head of the forces there, he's quoted as saying this beautiful thing. Now, this is on a war memorial in Anzac Parade in Canberra. It's some of the most beautiful words. And if I may read it, it's just a paragraph.
Yeah, go for it.
It's from the commander of the Turkish forces after the defeat. Those heroes that shed their blood and lost their lives, you are now lying in the soil of a friendly country. Therefore, rest in peace. There is no difference between the Johnnies and the Mehmets. To us, where they lie side by side here in this country of ours. You, the mothers who sent their sons from faraway countries, wipe away your tears. Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are in peace. After having lost their lives on this land, they have become our sons as well. Isn't that amazing?
That's great.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, it's such humanity and humility from your enemies.
Yeah.
Well, I think, he saw what he saw. He would have horrified him and given him respect for the enemy, I think, as well. Because it would have been terrible for everyone.
Yeah. Surely would.
Yeah.
The leaders.
One of my favourite films is one called All the King's Men. And it's got David Jason as an officer. And it's basically the king's gardeners and things like that on his estate all get called up and they go to they get sent to the Dardanelles as a battalion. And he's the OC of the battalion, or one of the officers of the battalion. And it's based on a true story. And they go into it, so it shows you about their time in the Dardanelles and stuff. And then there's a battle, and they all go off into this fog and stuff, or smoke, and they're never seen again. And then decades later, their remains were found behind the lines where they'd all been executed together. So they think what's happened is they were captured and then they were all executed.
Yep.
Ain't war hell?
Sure is.
Ah, there it is. Uh-huh.
But it's a really good film. David Jason's really good in it.
Very quick story. I worked for a German company. We had a German chap visiting us at one point, and they asked me, can I take him out to dinner? And at dinner, we they say the John Cleese thing, Faulty Towers, don't mention the war. Of course, I didn't, but he did, and he brought it up, and we had quite an interesting discussion about it. And anyway, he said, "I'd like to be. Have you got any war memorials here? I'd like to be seeing one of them." So I took him out to our Shrine of Remembrance in Melbourne, which is, if anyone's been there, it's a beautiful place.
It is.
The thing that's interesting is he said, of all the battles, when you think of battles, what's the one that is coming to mind the most for Australians? And I said, well, Gallipoli. And his reaction was, what? What's that? He never heard of it, of course, because he's thinking of the Western Front.
Yeah.
Never heard of Gallipoli. And years later, he contacted me and he said, look, I didn't realise what Gallipoli was for Australia and New Zealand, and now I understand, and thank you for bringing that up. But it was an interesting conversation because, of course, it wasn't what he expected. You mentioned the First World War to any Aussie or Kiwi, and it's like Gallipoli, and the others, all the Western Front and all how horrible that was, kind of comes second, unfortunately. But from his perspective, he was surprised he'd never heard of it.
It was the same with the British and the Middle East campaign. They don't realise that the special forces, the British special forces, were pretty much born in the Middle East in the First World War. Everyone thinks it was the SAS in the Second World War and the LRDG. It wasn't. It was actually the Australian and British light car patrol units that developed all these tactics for navigating with vehicles in the desert and things.
Yeah.
Plus, another big one for Australians is the Battle of Long Tan, but that's one that most people wouldn't never have heard of either because different time. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of good ones like that. Charge of the Light Horse and
and
lots of good ones.
Again, Mesopotamia is where the Australian Air Force pretty much cut its teeth as well before they went further to into Europe. So there's a lot of history, that's for sure. Like all, my point is, all nations have a proud history of service, and people getting through the worst imaginable sort of situations. I think none of us glorify war. That's for sure.
No. And we all do it. We all went through it in the hope that the next generation didn't have to. Well, of course, politicians love to screw that idea up.
Yeah.
Jim says the Turks were supplied and trained by German military personnel. They fought much tougher and smarter than expected. Yeah. And they also had an air force. Jim says,
"You're well read in that, Jim."
Yeah. Jim says, "I think I mentioned it once, but I may have got away with it."
Well played, sir. It's not a week goes by when we don't mention Monty Python and John Cleese and et al.
Hey, John, this F15 for its age is quite a gorgeous kit, by the way.
Yes.
Right.
Glad to hear it.
Gorgeous.
Well, I'm going to have to do one at some point. So what have you decided about the turkey feathers there, bro?
I'm using the exposed ones. Although now it's called turkey feathers.
John's just bounced his head off a radiator.
Yeah.
Nah, sorry, that's me. Just dinging the boom arm.
Which is funny. I think that's how Genesis made the sound at the beginning of "I Can't Dance." It was like Phil Collins hitting his head on something or other. I think, like the other guys, I think attacking with a dinner spoon.
Oh, the boing sort of sound.
Yeah, the boing.
Yeah.
David says, as they say, war is the result of politics failed. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of failing politics at the moment.
Well,
yeah.
One of my favourite expressions comes from Harry Patch on this subject. And he says, war is nothing more than organised murder. Or legalised murder. And instead of sending young men to war, they should send politicians into a room and let them sort it out themselves.
Something that's always stuck to me was a quote from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It was just in one of the remixes. The voice of Reagan. He goes, "Just think, they called for war and nobody shows up." They were taking the piss, of course, but it's like,
Frankie say no more.
Frankie say no more.
Jim says, what kit and what scale F-15 are you working on, Paul?
This is a Hasegawa 148. Show you the box again. Jim,
show us the box.
Ooh.
Show us the box.
Nice.
It's
the
beautiful.
Prototype Strike Eagle.
The lizard green.
Ooh.
And for its age, it's a quite beautiful kit. Although I will say it could have been a 1/72 kit. It's actually just a 1/72 scale up. The level of detail is low, but its age, it's probably from the early 90s, late 80s. That said, though, it's going together like a charm.
Charmed.
Charmed.
Do you know what?
I'm gonna have Genesis in my head now.
That's not
You're
a bad
welcome.
thing, though. Genesis is awesome.
They're bloody brilliant.
Martin says, I watched Light Horse the other day about their charge at the Turkish guns. Cracking film.
Yeah.
David said, is that the Tamir F-15C? No, it's the Hasegawa F-15E.
Correct.
Yeah. So as it turns out,
George,
most people probably already know this, but the F-15 Eagles, the VENs, as I would call them, the variable exhaust nozzles at the back of the jets, used to sort of bind and sort of have a bit of, they'd get stuck. So they removed the outer skin, so they've just got the inner workings of it now. So they look a lot more complex than what they were when they were brand new. And that model that he's doing, the prototype had the turkey feather fairings that are no longer on the Strike Eagles, but Paul bought an aftermarket resin kit for it, and then found out that it's meant to actually have the fairings.
So very, very simple exhaust nozzles. Very, very simple. In fact, kind of terribly boring.
George says hello all, by the way.
Oh, hello, George.
Hey, George.
So what these
brother
beautiful
George was
things.
here.
Ooh, hang on. Let's have a look. There we go.
Yeah, so there's extra bits that go on it to make it even more detailed than that. They're absolutely stunning. But then I realised, because I've got a book on the Strike Eagle, the first one didn't have those exposed turkey feathers. So it would be more correct to use the one in the kit. However, I've decided not to, because no one's ever going to see this but me.
It's my model.
It'll bloody do, mate.
Oh, matron.
It's my model, and I'll do what I bloody want with it.
Do what I bloody want. Anyway.
You've been very quiet, Mel.
Yeah, nothing to say.
We're not letting him get a word in.
Yeah. Well, it's been interesting. I've been. I'm not up on Gallipoli, and I know about it, but.
So you'd be having flashbacks or something.
Not quite. Yeah, I'm almost old enough to have been there.
Certainly closer to it than some of us are.
Yes. We won't go into that, will we?
Too late.
Ian says, I didn't know that about the F-15 turkey feathers. Thanks, John.
Well, neither did we. It was a learning moment for us.
This feels really weird. I'm polishing this guy's head. That sounds way worse than what it is.
Oh, well, no judgment.
Oh. Mal's dinner's ready.
Oh, scram.
Scramble. Oh, the Grand Fromage is in. He says, I tuned in. Hello, my dudes. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, Malcolm.
I don't know if you can see that. There's a photo of those nozzles.
Oh, yes.
They're flat and they're covered. All right, so that's that lizard green one. So they're flat, covered, and boring. Where later on, let me see if I can find a photo.
Yeah, that was a call for my scran. I think the missus forgot this goes on longer. So I'll chip out.
All right, bud.
And see you next Monday.
See you next Monday, buddy.
As
See you,
usual.
Mel.
See you guys.
So here's a challenge for you, Peddler Kamali. Find the best, nicest, most gorgeous photo of an F-15 Eagle in that book.
Oh, that's easy. The green one.
The one I'm
It really
building.
is. Yeah.
It is beautiful.
No, I did build that Husky kit in that scheme back in the 80s, it would have been, but it looks way cool with all those bombs on it.
Oh, there you go. Pepe.
Where'd 33 go? Down there.
Yeah, found it.
Yeah? How'd you go?
Oh, hang on, Paul. Let's have a look.
Oh,
You
look
got
at
me
that.
There's all them bombs. But yeah, she's beautiful in green, but there was only one in green.
Yeah. So, could you quickly find that quote from the pilot talking about the colour?
Oh.
Probably not.
You've been very demanding today, aren't you, John?
No, we've as you know, we talk fairly often about modelling and aircraft and all sorts of stuff anyway, about what we're up to and what we've found and learnt in the last week and stuff like that. It's always interesting, I find.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of quotes I'll read out if you don't mind here.
Go for it.
We still paint warplanes in different colours, despite the fact that a good radar can pick up anything with a non-stealth signature. Now, bear in mind, this book... Oh, let me see the published date. $1990. Right. Good radar can pick up anything with a non-stealth signature, but for peace games, for Europe at least, we've gone lizard. Which is far easier to say than European one camouflage scheme. And it looks much better than the other guys. We got the pretty one.
Yeah. So, like that scheme on their C-141s, so good.
But yeah, there's one more. So tanks are still a major battlefield weapon, despite all the air ordnance everyone's got to knock them out. The Air Force reckons that the snub-nosed Rockeye takes a lot of beating in this role. It's actually a Navy weapon that we've adapted for use on our tactical airplanes. The brochure calls it an area denial cluster weapon. This means that every one of them big bombs splits open and showers out anti-personnel bomblets, 717 of them. Rockeyes will also take out light structures and vehicles as well as tanks. This F-15 will carry 22. I guess that should be enough. Terrifying weapons, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after all these weeks, have you decided to get the res kit Rockeyes, or are you going to stick with the kit?
Stick with the ones with the kit. But yeah, everybody needs a green eagle.
Because no one will see it except you.
No one will see it except me. Not even you. You live 1,000 kilometers away.
I saw your your tropical Spitfire the other day, last weekend.
You did only
Bloody
because I brought
gorgeous.
it out for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I'm. As I said, I haven't really touched modelling for a month or so. I've just enjoyed this Easter break. It's bloody good, therapeutic.
Yeah.
My modelling usually involves watching Bearded Veteran Creates. Normally, that's what I do. So
We're becoming popular. Yay!
yeah.
Not.
Hey, the subscribers has gone up by 4 in this just during this stream.
Yeah, that's me. I'm on 3 different computers at the moment.
Hey, I'll take it.
One of these seats is the front and one's the back. I've got to work out which one's which.
Oh, shit.
What color eyes do you think this bloke should have?
Oh, well,
Red.
Tim, he's not going to fit in your Sea Fury.
Red. I suppose we'll put the pupils in first.
What nationality is he? Is he American? Is he?
Yep.
Brown or blue?
That's great, John. There's a good one of a space marine painted like rubbish. Unfortunately, like it looks like it was painted with house paint, and then like a well painted one, and it's like, "Be strong, Clarence. Be strong for the Emperor."
I will actually. I think I'll challenge myself to do a Warhammer figure one day, Timbo. But I will be ringing you to try to get some tips and goss and stuff like that.
They're a bit of fun doing them every now and then.
How's
Morgan,
Locke? Is he still doing it on occasion?
Lachlan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he still paints heaps. There's a little dude I did today.
So Lachlan is Tim's younger brother who's recently, going through the process of being discharged from the Australian Army.
Morgan just came in to ask if he could set up his Xbox on the telly.
Was the answer yes? Of course you can.
The answer was, go and ask your mum. She's the boss. Ask her.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, she spends more time in the living room than I do. So. Okay. Julian's back in. He says, "Afternoon, all. Just got in to catch the last bit." He says, "Afternoon, Mikey. Evening, Paul, Tim, and John."
Hello.
Cheers, buddy.
David says, I have the old Smear F6. Ah, pressure's just changed in my ears. Oh, that hurt.
Oh.
Just Dave says, I have the old Smear F15C as I picked it up at Cardiff Antiques shop for a discount as they are closing at the end of the month due to the rents.
Oh.
Yeah. But still, if you can get a bargain out of them. Ian says, hey, hi, Julian. Wow, we've got 24 people watching. That's unusual. The weather must be bad today.
Well, either that or the better-looking Marley brings the talent.
Well, yeah. Yeah, obviously. We may have to pay him at some point.
I only accept payment in chocolate and Toblerones.
When you say
That's
chocolate, you don't mean hobnobs, I do. Oh, it's still chocolate.
Didn't get coated.
Was the Easter Bunny good to you, Mr. Barley?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I'll be back in 10 seconds. I want to show that.
Okay. Whilst he's away, I shall crack on with the chat. Ian says, hi, David. I have that kit. Mine's a bit warped. It's definitely putting up a fight. Gonna paint it as Transformers Starscream. Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would be cool.
I went to get something. I got nothing.
Julie says, David, are you a heathen in South Wales like me? Julie says, hi, Ian. And Joe says, pay the better looking Marley. Does this mean our dues are going up? No.
You get them for free today.
Yeah.
It means modders is getting less hobnobs.
That's what he's worth.
So before we went live, Paul's family, a couple of friends, his partner, we all played 2 rounds of. There's a game we've been playing for. Oh, what do you say? A couple of years?
Years.
Since Tim's wedding, in fact.
Tim wouldn't know about it.
Or was it there? No, it wasn't that. No, we weren't staying at the Vibe. It was the one after that. So it would have been either Alicia's or Hannah's. I can't recall. Same venue. But yeah, we bought a game, and it's one of those games that changes. Oh, I can't remember. It's a legacy game. Is that what it's called?
Legacy game.
Legacy. Yeah, where it.
Can I just get something in the chat a minute, guys? David says yes in the Ronda, and Julie says, Mikey, I said Annie, not David. Specsavers beckons. No, if you remember from Friday, Annie is called David, but the YouTube name is 17 Annie Mary because his daughter set his YouTube account up for him. There we go. And there you go. He says, Julian, that's what happens when you let your daughter set you up. So not Specsavers. I'm not being daft or going mental. It's just I know who it is.
So it's a legacy game we've been playing off and on for a couple of years now, and I think we've got 1 session left. It was a lot of fun. We did 2 sessions back to back today, so it was great fun.
Just to clarify, it's a board game.
Board game called Charterstone.
So your wedding was that good that they all sat there playing board game?
Well, they were playing a board game, and I tuned in via FaceTime.
See, he's 1,000 k's away, and he's playing the game with us like he's there. But basically, the reason the wedding came up is because John and I only really see each other once or twice a year, and there was a wedding on. So he's bought this board game and brought it down to Canberra, and we've been playing that game off and on every couple of months for a couple of years. So.
Excellent.
And you thought plastic modelling was nerdy.
Hey, I play D&D and Candela Obscura.
Yeah, nerd.
I don't like trains.
Dungeons and Dragons. I guess I've missed you, Timbo. It's been a while.
Julian
It's been a
says,
minute.
over the mountain from where my dad was from, the Cunnan Valley. There we go. And he says, laugh out loud, David. And he says, I wasn't here Friday, Mikey, hosting duties. You had your local lady of pleasure around, did you? Your lady of other activities.
There's other activities than modelling?
That's no way to talk about my wife.
I'm sure Bron would love you for saying that.
Oh. 32.
This super glue. It's stringy like cheese, like slang in a dentist's office. It's horrible.
Yeah, nice dark.
Might have to leave that on blue tack for now.
Here's a dark colour.
Hey, John, I've excelled myself with this cockpit here.
Oh, yes?
She good.
There you go. Julian says, no, my brother and his wife, Mikey, not a lady of negotiable affection.
Oh, yeah, it's different, yeah.
It depends who his brother's wife is.
All right, tell you what. I don't have many decals left. That's I've done all of the right side. I'll show you it now, just before we go off. So lots of stencils all over the fuselage and stuff like that. So that's coming along nicely. I've got probably about I don't know. Let's have a look. Probably about 10 left at the back end of the left-hand side. They'll go on next once we go off camera. But what I'm doing is waiting until it's on its wheels.
Yeah.
To put on the ones on the vertical stab, because although they're shown straight here, in reality, the aircraft when it's sitting down is nose up. So these are mounted a little bit crooked, so they're actually straight when they're on the ground. So I'll be doing that off camera when I'm putting on the wheels. Let me see if I can get an image to just show you what I mean. Oh, come on. There we go. So as you can see, it sits down at the back. This is an old one in a museum, of course. But yeah, they've drawn the Polish Air Force insignia at an angle, so it's straight when it's sitting on the ground. So I'll be waiting till it's on that angle before I put all the tails on the tails, all the decals on the tail.
Are you going to do it as like a faded one eye?
It won't be that faded, but I'd like to, but I'm probably not that good. In fact, this is close to it because the insignia and stuff you can see it's got 1,000, it's got a Polish sort of panther and stuff, and looks like a scorpion. They're all on this one as well, but yeah, it's not exactly the same. That's what I mean. Yeah. So these colours, or birthday bash, these are different from what it's very different from what Trumpeter is saying, with all the green. As you can see, this they've got more of a maroon, I think, is what one of the Polish guys explained it as. And I've decided today I will put a ventral tank on it as well.
Yeah.
Just because otherwise I've got two bloody big holes that I didn't consider. Anyway,
nice work.
So that's me. I'm gonna change my camera so I can look at Olyol.
Cool. Not John. What have you achieved today?
I've been working on my cockpit, thank you very much. And I can't really show you with any sort of clarity, so I've taken a photo of it, and hopefully that comes up a little better.
Yeah, that works.
That works. I'm really happy with that. There's, of course, a pizza.
Can you spin sideways?
Yeah.
Vertically? There we go.
There you go. You can zoom in then. There we go.
Yeah, it's looking very nice.
Yeah, they're missing a bit there, of course, but yeah.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Looking great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks.
What about you, Tim?
I've just been
Except for drinking your coffee.
Yeah, just about. Yeah,
That is coffee.
I forgot I'd 3D printed this a while ago, so I just started.
I like
that. Just started laying a couple of flesh tones and stuff down and kind of working out how I kind of want it. Eventually, I'll go back in with some blues and purples and get the under shading and stuff. And then I've just started sketching out where I want the shadow to be from the lip of the helmet. But
yeah,
yeah.
My ignorance, is he US?
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which era?
Vietnam.
Yeah. Not quite sure, to be honest. That's why I'll just start with the flesh tones and stuff, and then work out exactly what I want to do. But yeah, I just put a bit of a glaze of the Sky Type S over the undershirt. You know, the white shirts kind of go a bit mank when they get sweaty and stuff. So
yeah,
I figure that was safe enough to kind of put in. But
with your arms being so hairy, it looks like you got white gloves on or pink gloves on.
Well, this arm's painted.
Ep13.
Oh, there we go.
This one's not as bad, but yeah,
looks like you got pink gloves on.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm worried about if I just shave up to here, I'd look like Tom Cruise's character in Tropic Thunder. You know,
it's when they start going up the other side you go.
Yeah, no, it's no, actually, there's nothing good about it. Yeah, hairy arms. What can you do?
It's a Marley thing, I think.
Thing.
It's when you get the hairy palms you got to start worrying, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, my lycanthropy kicking back in.
Yeah,
you get them from your mum.
So I've been doing Pepe.
Hey, Pepe
the giant. And he's got a little goblin friend that sits on his shoulder as well.
What is he holding?
So he's got a big boulder under his arm. And he's got a club made with a rock and a tree branch. It's really cool. And each kit comes with its own little backstory on the box.
Okay.
Oops, I've just knocked him over. This one says, one lovely morning, Pepe the Giant sneaks into the town with the help of little Roblin the Goblin and his invisibility spell. When the magic ran out, all the guards were alarmed. The giant didn't want to fight, but he kept saying, friends. Roblin explained that Pepe was not a threat to the town. He just wanted to live with his little friend, Roblin.
Oh,
you read that beautifully.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just like Ringo reading Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes.
Only without the Scouse accent.
Would you like to go behind the shed for a quick shunt?
Said the fat controller.
Jim says, jolly good show, chaps. So I remember this going forward. Every BBC show now starts at noon UK time. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Don't forget,
9
John,
p.m. 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's easier than 8, I think. And thanks for joining, Tim. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Jim had a very big
you too, the other better-looking Marley, who's decided to grow a beard because he liked what he saw.
Well, no, it's more to the point Marianne liked what she saw.
Yeah, she's. Oh yes.
I've been saying for years, beards convey authority.
Well, if
you can grow one, grow one.
That's why Mikey's in charge of this channel. No, I know agree with that.
Yeah.
Jim says, I think I went to school with Harry Palms. Jim went to the biggest school ever, I think.
Yeah.
He had a class of 1,000. Ian says, it's been a great upside down under show today. A really good Monday episode. Good day all.
G'day.
It's been fun.
Cheers, Ian.
And Dieter says, have a great afternoon, morning, and see you all tomorrow. Yes, me and John are back tomorrow.
We are. Cricket ball.
It's just us tomorrow as well, John. Because
okay.
Decorating.
All right, very good.
Yeah. So you're going to have to put up with us. Unless we invite somebody else in. Hey!
Cool.
Oh, hey.
John's got stickers. What's that, Paul?
Thanks for having me.
It's all right.
It's been
You're
fun.
always welcome. John's got stickers too.
Yeah, and he bought some stickers. What, yesterday, day before?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see it came up with a notification.
So the world needs more STFU John stickers. So
show us your stickers, John, before we go.
Well, do you like that one, Timbo? It's a chemical composition of alcohol.
Yep.
That's very good.
It's good.
I also bought that one because Melbourne.
Well, yeah.
John.
Yeah.
South Africa. The lube and subscribe, and the lube and subscribe.
There we go.
Very good.
Oh, and the debauched sloth sticker is in the cupboard over there, so I can't show you that one.
Right. Thank you for joining us all. We'll be back tomorrow. Me and John will be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock UK time, 9 o'clock Eastern Australia time, Australian Eastern Standard Time, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Whenever you turn up. Right.
I'll be late.
Thank you all. See you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Mikey.